Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in Matawan, New Jersey. Your hosts, of course, Sturch and Gooch. And, of course, behind the glass, we have Dina, the Pick Bish Simpson. What's going on, everybody? It's a crazy day, huh? A little bit of a crazy day because, look, I want to say this, first and foremost, happy birthday, happy anniversary. We have made it to season 2 of this podcast.
This is 1 year ago today. We recorded our first episode.
Yeah, man. We sat there. You were in your basement. I was in my attic, and we were sitting there talking about Aaron Rodgers winning MVP. Jesus Christ, we're talking about that again.
Yeah, we are, Dave. It's fucking honestly,
kidding?
And he is the MVP. We're gonna get more into that later.
Jesus
but
Christ.
Bro, I just want to talk about that first episode. I was terrified. The first when I hit record on that red button, I've done podcasts before, but for some reason this was just different. And here we are a year later, and I'm not scared anymore, Dave.
I'm not afraid anymore.
I'm not afraid anymore.
Well, yeah, Danny coming in. Welcome, Danny. He is at rehab today. Physical therapy, that is. Not saying that.
Not the crackhead.
Not the crackhead rehab. Like, I'm talking like good physical therapy. I like your okay, Ashley, welcome to the show. She was here a couple minutes early. She was in the queue. She was in the green room, I guess you could say. She was first. She was here. She's been riding with us ever since the jump. So she probably was our first download ever, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Unless we count ourselves as like listening back to make sure we didn't sound like shit. You know what I mean? Like, so
honestly, Ash is super consistent. For somebody that does not really follow sports, she listens to every single minute of every single show. So you got to give her credit there.
I will.
Thank you, Ash.
Of course.
I love you.
She's been the, that's why we called her the first lady of Chop Sports.
Yes, she was very encouraging. Look, people in my situation, to go back, we're looking back at this. This was the pandemic.
Looking back at
it. This was the middle of the pandemic. Nobody really had anything going on. And I was sitting there like twiddling my thumbs, trying to figure out what to do. And, you know, when I'm coming up with ideas like this, you would typically expect, you know, your significant other to kind of pour cold water on the idea. She was all about it. So here we are a year later, full support. I appreciate it. But yeah, let's get into some sports.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Stuff, first and foremost, there are new faces coming into the chat. So welcome to those guys as well. It looks like Intel.
What's going on, brother? Welcome.
Yeah, what's going on? Welcome to the show. We definitely are appreciative of you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the video itself, do all that. First and foremost, Patreon, the way you can support Chop Sports right now. What would you like to do if I wanted to do the Byron thing and I couldn't? What should you do right now? You should go support us on Patreon. There are a couple levels to do that. $3 general support, kind of, you know, we're trying to stack that. You know, if you want to help out Chop Sports grow in 2022, that's how you do it. There's other options in which it's fluid. We said yesterday we're going to be adding stuff to the $5 and the $10 tiers.
Once you go on the Patreon, once you go down, a bunch. I'll do all that probably over this weekend, and come Monday, I'll send out all those discount codes for everybody. But just go on the Patreon and you'll see the tiers, because it is a little bit difficult to explain and it gets redundant. So go on to the Patreon. The link is now on our website, I believe. There's also a link in this description, and we should probably consider maybe putting that link in our Instagram bio, at least on the interim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll talk to Amber about that. She's been running the Instagram, and obviously if you look at her Instagram right now, it's very uniform and very clean. So Amber's doing wonders over there. Thank you so much to Amber. Kyle coming in. Good morning, Kyle. Yo, Steph Curry looked dope last night getting slapped around by Luka.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, listen. First and foremost, I have to give a shout out to the Sauce, because I did ride with the Sauce Network last night. Kyle, Toast, even random ass NHL guy. Like there was a couple. I went like 8 for 13, and I made some dough last night. Some do-re me. So if you want to get involved in the sports gambling world, go to KyleKerms.com. He's got a VIP subscription service. The proof is in the pudding. Kyle is living on Easy Street right now because he's good at what he does. Okay, so go check out KyleKerms.com for all that. So
the sauce.
I will say this, right before I came on, I was in a really good mood. Like, I was in a good mood last night. I'm educating myself. I'm just trying to feel myself a little bit on the show, right? RJ Ochoa, Blogging the Boys producer, editor-in-chief, like that my guy who does the Blogging the Boys stuff, he reminded me today that 15 years ago, not only are we celebrating our 1-year anniversary, but 15 years ago, Romo dropped the snap against Seattle. Why would you do that? Like, he's the guy that's supposed to be spreading positive vibes, and I don't want to. It makes me feel uneasy.
Damn, that long ago, huh?
15 years ago, I almost threw my plasma through my window. I don't think I've ever seen heartbreak like I saw on that day. And then obviously the Dez catch is like 5 years after
I was handling losses a lot worse 15 years ago.
Oh, it's been brutal. It's been brutal. Also, talk to me about the playoff bracket you want to.
Yeah, that's right.
We got
it's almost like an NCAA bracket, but it's NFL playoffs instead of college basketball. Basically, it's a tiered system where you pick the first round, you advance. Every team you advance, you get a point. You pick the second round, every team you advance, you get 3 points. Championship is 5 points. Super Bowl is 10. I'm not sure how much it's gonna cost to get in, but look out in Chop Sports Facebook group for that, and on our Instagram, we'll put that all out there. And I guess we'll have more details once the playoffs are set, because you really can't release it. But I just want to give a plug, and everybody, there will be a nice contest and a nice little prize payout.
Also, I do want to tell the guys, I got a message yesterday. I forgot who it was. There's so many people that kind of slide on into my DMs as far as like guys from Chop Sports asking permissions to drop your Super Bowl pools. Don't ask me permission. Yeah. Drop all the Super Bowl
Go right ahead,
pools.
But I do ask that you make it legit. Don't be a dickhead.
Yeah, don't be that. Yeah, I guess, get permission, but at the same time, if it's a legit Super Bowl pool, go for it. This guy's Super Bowl pool, I don't know if you saw this. If you draw 2-2 or 5-5, you get your money back right away. That's crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, those times you're like, oh my God, I got 2-2. I'll never win.
So I would have won almost every single Super Bowl pool I've ever been in, because I always get shit numbers.
Right. So that's a pretty cool idea and concept, that basically, like, if you draw shitty numbers, you'll play for free.
And we're going to be doing the Super Bowl pool again. Yeah, we'll be doing all these things. There's going to be plenty of giveaways and ways to get in for free and win some money for free. And also there'll be paid ones as well. So we'll do 2.
You know what's funny? Kyle just came in before, said, I cried in front of a girl I started dating when Romo dropped the snap. While that's hilarious, because, I mean, yes, we think back. Now, we're talking 15 years ago. When Dak broke his ankle last year, you couldn't talk to me. My hat was over my eyes, and I cried. That was like, I couldn't believe, and because look, you're also watching Dak Prescott cry. You know what I mean? A grown man who knows that he throws everything on the line, and then he breaks his ankle. I cried. I'm okay with my emotions. I don't punch things anymore. I don't make holes in walls.
We all know that you're an emotional guy.
What are you talking about?
We're all fully
I got no
aware.
emotions. I'm stone cold Steve Austin right now. There's no way. I have no emotions whatsoever. I texted Dina yesterday. I was like, Dina, I went out to get lunch 20 minutes ago. I have not gotten nothing yet. And I was like in my feeling. I'm like, I can't eat today. I'm too fat. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's rough, dude. It's tough sledding out there. A lot to get into as far as the sports world is concerned. I know all of you guys are tuning in right now to enjoy sports talk. Well, guess what? We have it. Last night, Kyrie Irving, before we get into any of the meat and potatoes, the road court advantage Kyrie. I bet on the over of his point total. I bet on the Nets. I bet all over the Nets on this one, and I won. This is going to start something kind of awkward, right? I mean, like, the Nets are obviously a better team when Kyrie Irving is on the court, and he's only going to be on the court half the time. So what do we do in a sense like this? Like, what do the Nets do? Like, do they just force the guy's hand? Like, what do we do? The Nets
are in a situation where they're clearly not going to force Kyrie's hand.
Clearly.
I think that's abundantly clear at this point, that Kyrie is going to just play the road games, and he's going to take half his salary or whatever it might be. And they're going to be a better team on the road. And they're going to, I guess, root to get like a 5 seed so they don't get home court in the playoffs. Because obviously, if you're in a playoff series, you want road court advantage if you have Kyrie on road games. Am I wrong about this?
You are not wrong about this.
I'm not wrong about this. So it's interesting to see, like, do the Nets try to fade some games on their own? Are they rigging it? Are they going to be tanking halfway? I think that they're a good enough team to win the East, obviously. Like,
I mean, with Kyrie Irving, they're a lock to be the one. Like,
I wouldn't say that they're a lock to be the one. I don't know what the standings look like, but I'm sure the Nets are at least near the top. But there's got to be some teams like Milwaukee. I would imagine there's some teams that are a little bit higher. I don't know. I have no clue what the NBA standings are out east. So
if
I
you're
don't
just joining us for the first time, we are actually not educated.
No, I just don't know what the standings are. I don't know where they are in the pecking order, but I do know that maybe you should just start betting the over in all Nets games, or at least the team total over, until Vegas catches up, because I would imagine that they're going to be scoring some points on the road with Kyrie.
Nets were plus 16 with Kyrie on the court last night. He had the highest plus minus of all the starters.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I don't know that that's going to hold true all year, because what's his plus minus for his career?
Can you also do me a favor? Yeah. What the hell is he talking about when he comes plus minus?
It's an advanced stat. It's not really even that advanced. It's just how much better the team is with you on the court as opposed to with you off the court. So plus minus is like the point differential that took place while you were out there. So it's,
Jesus Christ. I mean, do we need all these stats, honestly? Like, we know that the Nets are better. You don't need a plus-minus stat to tell me that the Nets are better with Kyrie Irving.
It could be skewed a little bit on like a small sample size as far as plus-minus, but overall, like, what's the most important thing is to be, when you're on the court, your team is doing better. Like, plus-minus is pretty much that stat.
Scoop saying with the plus-minus just use stat. Actually, it's funny because Scoop hit me up yesterday with a plus-minus thing, and I just said, yeah. I looked at it, I'm like, I have no idea what he just sent me.
Plus minus is a pretty big stat, and it's when you're doing analytics, it's probably the easiest.
Well, guess who's not an analytical guy?
It's not even analytics. It's like, I just told you what it is. You see how easy that was? It really isn't that deep.
Yeah, but when you get into like baseball, when it's like whip and
whip is very important. Whip, I think, is probably the best, most telling stat for a pitcher. 100%.
Ashley has a question.
What? Chris wants the court. Text them later.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully it's against the Warriors.
You guys are welcome to join us on either February 25th or 27th. We're going to.
You guys got courtside seats.
We'll look at the dates. I don't know if I'm going to spring for some courtside.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have to sit there with Spike Lee. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Whip is dope, according to AJ Bascone. But anyway.
Do you know what whip is?
Wins above replacement? No.
Oh, no.
That's WAP. that's WAR. Whip is walks, hits, innings pitched.
Walks and hits allowed per innings pitched.
Just God, miss me with all this crap, dude. I don't need any of this stuff.
It's like the on base percentage for pitchers.
Does whip count as a statable thing when it comes to fantasy baseball?
Yes, absolutely.
So somebody's whip is going to determine if you win your baseball
100%.
game? Fantasy baseball game.
Yes, if you're doing a roto league. And if you're doing a points league, then yes, because the lower your whip, the less walks you have and the less hits you give up. So
I'm going to start a fantasy baseball league. It's going to be archaic as hell. It's going to be hits and RBIs and stolen bases and the good old classic shit that you're ranked on in life.
So anyway, Kyrie, right? That's where we were going with this.
Oh, man. Did I say WAP on the air?
You did. I think that's white Anglo-Saxon. No, that's WASP.
That's also wet-ass peanut.
Oh, yes.
With that stupid song.
Want me to say it?
No, don't say it. Don't say it. No, please don't say it. All right, so Kyrie Irving, obviously.
Jacob DeGrom has an amazing WAP.
Actually, all the Mets fans get an amazing WAP when Jacob DeGrom is on the mound. So there you go. That's a stat. There's your stat for you.
That's great.
Anyway, you guys made me cry.
No, that was a good one. I like that one. But anyway, right before we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, I did want to say, since we're talking about baseball, great segue, by the way, unintentional segue. A-Rod, did you hear that he's probably leaving Sunday Night Baseball? Which, again, I always thought, listening to A-Rod made me smarter in baseball terms because the guy is like all-world knowledge, right? So now apparently he's not going to be on Sunday Night Baseball anymore. But there's rumors that said that he wants to do a Manning cast.
I don't even think it's rumors that he wants to do it. I think ESPN is going after A-Rod to do it. And I don't know that he's necessarily leaving Sunday Night Baseball if this thing doesn't take place. I'm not sure on the details of this either, but I know A-Rod was pretty popular in the booth amongst the fans.
Yeah.
All things considered, I was surprised by that. Some people are going to hate A-Rod no matter what, but
gee, I wonder why. It's silly.
Clearly. But I think it'll be interesting to see because I always looked at A-Rod as one of the most hated players in Major League Baseball amongst other Major League Baseball players.
If you were a Yankee hater, you hated A-Rod.
No, everybody hated A-Rod.
What, anybody hate A-Rod when he was a Texas Ranger?
I think that's where it started.
Did anybody hate A-Rod? Everybody loved A-Rod when he was a Mariner.
Well, he was 20.
Well, there you go.
Things changed since then drastically for
A-Rod.
A-Rod.
Like the size of his biceps and his muscle mass. Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, A-Rod.
I'm excited about that.
I'm curious to see how that's going to play out because I don't think anybody likes him. Maybe we'll have Varitek in there.
Varitek sucks. You saw what they do with the Manning cast and how entertaining that is. If you brought A-Rod onto the screen to interview former players or guys that are involved in the game, I think that would make it interesting because people are always complaining that baseball is boring, right? I mean, that's the MO, right?
Yes.
Baseball is boring. It's too slow. Speed up the game. I almost don't ever want the Manning cast to end, honestly, when I'm watching that because I love listening to them banter. Their Snoop Dogg banter was
I watched about 15 minutes of the Manning cast so far.
Total.
Well, that's total.
He has a fan.
Huh?
Said he has a fan.
Yeah, Danny loves A-Rod. Danny bought A-Rod's jersey. Danny's favorite number. I want to mention
IntelliCard USA. We will be getting to the AB stuff very, very shortly. So
sorry. It's coming up next. Actually, it's coming up right now. As a matter of fact, so the AB Bruce Arians drama has escalated, okay? This is where it's now boiling over because, look, as of yesterday, everybody was team, I can't believe this guy ran off the field. What a joke. What a clown show. Get him some help. Get out of the league, blah, 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 right? Since yesterday, the 2-page long statement was released by Antonio Brown yesterday. Now, if you read it, which I suggest you do before making any kind of critiques or comments or anything like that, Antonio Brown, whether he wrote it or his publicist wrote it, doesn't matter.
I mean, the context that's standard operating procedure. I don't care if AB wrote it, if his people wrote it. I have people post shit
brother,
for me.
His cousin, it doesn't matter. It came from AB, his camp, right? To paraphrase, and I'm not going to sit here and read the whole damn thing because it is very long, but it is very drawn out and it's very interesting. So he comes out and says, MRI showed I got torn ligaments in my ankle. I got broken bones within my ankle, right? And Bruce Arians straight up said, get in there. And he said, no. And then he said, you're done. And he did the Undertaker. You're done. Right? So he said, all right, then I'm done. I'm out. Took his shoulder pads off. They didn't want to. You're done as a Buck. Okay, fine. Then I'm not donning this color anymore. That leads to the whole thing. The graphic right there shows him throwing shit into the crowd. Like that starts the breakdown. Now, does he skip off the field? Does he is he in the end zone and he kind of looks like he's not hurt? Yes, there's something to that, right? And he said yesterday that he had text messages, right? And everybody, including yourself, Gooch, were like, show me the text. Show me what you're talking about.
When I read the AB report or the statement, I was on board with the whole AB sucks thing, and I still am. I still think AB sucks because either way, you shouldn't have ran off the field because it's just bad optics. Now, that said, I'm not AB. I'm not there to judge him. I wouldn't want him on my team because I don't think he's the right fit for a locker room. And we're seeing that now. AB's talent. AB's one of the top 10 talents of all time.
Ever.
I honestly believe that.
I think so too.
I think AB was on his way. If you look at his numbers, he's got clear Hall of Fame numbers already in his career, but he's not going to get in because of these things.
I mean, that's the TO effect.
We'll talk about the writers in a little bit as well.
Yes.
But when I read the statement, I'm like, wow, man, I might have some egg in my face on this one. I might be eating crow, but all I need to do is see the text messages get released. Because if you have text and you had an MRI done, then I want to see the MRI, which you don't really have to release that. If he does, in fact, have surgery.
If any year the HIPAA violations have gone plentiful, it's this year.
Yeah, so. Well, the point that I'm making with that is if you do need surgery, you're going to have surgery.
Right.
Now, some people are saying that because AB actually said, I'm going to give it a shot, that Bruce Arians is in the right. AB skipping off the field, looking like he's not hurt. There's a lot of things that go into this optics-wise that I don't agree with on AB's side. But if he was in fact hurt and Bruce Arians was in fact trying to make him play through an injury with all the things that are going on with player safety in the NFL, Bruce Arians could be in trouble.
Bruce Arians is Coach Kilmer from Varsity Blues. Yes. Basically like, Billy Bob, I don't care if you're dying, get in there.
And while I might not agree with AB's actions for running off the field in the middle of the game, like I said, I'm not AB. There could be a lot more going on, and there might be some deep-rooted hatred going on.
We have some breaking news coming in from Robert Bohannon and AJ Bascone. I think there's more stuff being leaked as we're talking right now, so it's very hard. Like, I don't know.
See, I read the text.
No, but I'm thinking there could be more. Dina, is there more?
It looks like the newest thing I see is from 3 hours ago.
So that's not new.
That's text, but that is to me. I don't want to sit here and accuse Antonio Brown of doctoring a text message, but he does have a very recent history of doctoring things to make it look like it's something else.
And the Bucks kind of swept that, and they said, "Come on back."
So like this whole thing has started a little bit ago. Like Antonio Brown is clearly a little off. The whole vaccination thing, we're not going to just pretend like that didn't happen. I don't think that players should have to be vaccinated. I don't think any of that thing. So I'm not necessarily going to choose a side on that. But if the rules are the rules and you lie, then that's bad. It's a bad look. And the text message, man, when it says, hey, this is BA.
So is this very reminiscent to hey, it's remember when we had
all baseball season?
What was his name?
It was the reporter that acted like the spider attack.
Yeah, but what was the guy's name? Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
It's
Garrett here.
It's
Garrett.
It's Garrett Cole.
It's Garrett Cole.
Right.
Yeah. If I was to text you tomorrow, I wouldn't be like, "Hey Dave, what's up? It's Chris," because you know who the fuck I am. You text me all the time.
Do I though? Do I really know?
So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. There's gonna be more stuff that comes out. I'm not exactly buying either side of it right now. I'm going to reserve my judgment maybe forever on this one because I don't think we're ever going to know the exact truth. Even if AB does have surgery, I don't think that necessarily makes it, oh, yeah, like because a lot of players play the season and then have surgery after the year.
Dude was breaking defenders' ankles before taking himself out. His story changed 3 times now. That's why it's tough to believe a person who has a past like this. That's legitimate. Like, yeah, I mean, it apparently, according to this text, that he hurt himself on a two-point conversion.
And also, Bruce Arians is a douchebag. Like, nobody's saying, just because I don't necessarily agree with AB, it doesn't mean I'm like, oh, Bruce Arians was right. No, he's also an asshole. I fully understand that. I just think that what you have is 2 guys that both suck, butting heads with each other, and it's in the front of the public to see it. That's
AJ is coming in saying if he didn't do the vax thing, this would be a better look. Yes, obviously. The credibility would have been way through the roof if he didn't come out and do all this other stuff, you know. And there is some breaking news that is happening right now within the NFL, and we'll get into that in a second because we are going to cover it. But you know, as far as this is concerned, man, it's to the point where I'm waiting. It's like when is the boil over moment? When is that going to happen? Because right now it's steamrolled and fronted by Antonio Brown. Bruce Arians has not come out yet, which he should have right away, and said, wait, hold on. I would never introduce myself in a text. The only defense I have for that was to say that possibly Bruce Arians came up with a text and maybe some of the players don't have his number for whatever reason. And it was like a copy and paste. I
can't imagine a guy that they've pretty much took on when they took AB in. It was a guy that they needed to treat with kid gloves. At least they thought so, right? Tom Brady had him living in his house. It was like, could we really let AB into this locker room? Obviously it worked out. They won a Super Bowl, but I don't think that Bruce Arians and Antonio Brown didn't have a relationship going into this. There's no way that they didn't. They had to have been texting.
He's on starting the Buccaneers because of their relationship, meaning he gave him chance. He gave him this chance to be a Buck, you know. So now he's literally blowing his chance.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
pump the brakes. Like let's all just.
They also have him on the injury report. He's still not released. I know that there's semantics that go into that, but
the Bucs are playing keep away right now.
Yeah,
they're not like. What if in 2 weeks? Wild card round, all of a sudden he's good to go.
Did you see Terrell Owens throw his name in the hat and be like, yo, Tampa, if you're looking for a guy.
T.O. could probably still run a 4.240.
T.O. could definitely catch 6 balls in a game.
Absolutely. He did it with a broken leg at one point. Okay. So T.O. is the man, by the way. But T.O., speaking of T.O., his antics got him delayed of the Hall of Fame for years. So now all of this, Antonio Brown, I don't think has a prayer to get into the Hall. A prayer, bro.
No, Antonio Brown's not going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Ever. It's a shame. Like, I don't think this ever blows over.
It's a shame.
Because he's so damn talented.
It shouldn't matter what you do off the field. I mean, I guess it should if you do something that crazy, but we're going to get into the off the field issues and why it shouldn't matter in a little bit.
Yeah. Which one are you talking about there? Are you talking about what I want to talk about? There's just so much stuff to go. Oh, okay. We'll go over that in a little bit. But as we're talking about judging a guy like Antonio Brown, right? So yesterday, my beloved Cowboys get some crappy ass news, right? Micah Parsons jumps onto the COVID list, right? So here's the thing. Everybody and their mother has gotten COVID so far. You know, like I feel like all of us at some point, you've had it like 8 times already, Gooch. So like he is the pandemic at this point. But like at some point or another, you're going to contract this thing, right? Whatever your beliefs are of the COVID is your beliefs. And we're not about to start pitching you one way, right? But last night, now Micah Parsons was shown at the Dallas Mavericks game sitting next to Bob Menery by for whatever reason, the voice of Buffalo Wild Wings, right? So he's there, no mask, or it's down, right? And I'm sitting there like, okay, whatever. You know, you're in an arena of 20,000 people. You're probably not in the best scenario, right? Guys, I don't know if you know this, but the CDC has come out and said that when you're a close contact with somebody with COVID, you got to wait 4 to 5 days to even test yourself for an accurate result. So therefore, Micah Parsons did not contract COVID at the Mavs game. You don't test the next day after being at a Mavs game and it come back positive and you're like, well, must have been the Mavs game.
I say this all the time. What's the difference between him going to the Mavs game and sitting in his seat at the Mavericks game, or AJ Dillon jumping into the stands after scoring his second touchdown, and doing a Lambeau leap and actually
correct? Like, so today I woke up.
There is no difference.
No, none. Today I woke up with hate on CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Now, why? Because guess what? The next night, after their teammate just tested positive for COVID, they go to the Mavericks game. They're sitting basically in the same damn seats, right? Maybe that's the Cowboys seats if they ever want to go to the game,
Watching
right?
Steph Curry.
Watching Steph Curry get cooked.
Right.
He sucked last night. But the hatred, you're stupid, you're selfish, you're inconsiderate of your team, blah, blah, blah. Who the hell is any of us here, out there? Who are we to tell these grown-ass men what to do with their spare time? We're living in the mix of a pandemic for 2 years. I'm over this shit. Go let them live their lives. Chances are, once again, that there's no COVID being caught in that moment. If these guys got COVID, they got it already.
My whole thing is like, I said this yesterday. I don't know if I said it on the show or not, but if I was a head coach of a football team, and people might flame me for this, but I really don't care. I would say, who hasn't had COVID? Raise your hand. We played yesterday, so we're going to go cough on you in the room so you're good to go by Sunday. And then everyone had it, and we don't have to worry about it going forward.
Shout out to whoever came in saying no one can run a 4.240 right now. Can't keep watching after that stupidity. Well, shout out to you for.
Have you ever seen me run, dude?
Being fit? Not you.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, but seriously, nice faceless comment, by the way. Go over to their YouTube, drop a comment there so I know who you are and I can fight you. Literally.
No, he's not watching anymore.
No, he's not watching anymore. You're right. You're right. Stupidity.
Anyway,
we're all stupid here. Dumb. Bye. But anyway, so yes, so it's a shitty thing. I don't think that people should judge you based off of what you're doing. And I keep getting breaking news. The text just came in with the with AB. So that's actually happening. Tyron Smith has also just tested positive for the COVID-19. Guess what, guys? Tyron Smith was not at the Mavericks game. So shut up about the Mavericks game already. It's enough. It's done. Hawaii Mike coming in. If people/fans think they can be demand a player to be vaccinated, and they're definitely going to think they control what the players do with their free time. Correct, Mike. Like that's literally the thing. You can't dictate what somebody does in their free time. And I brought this up and I kind of compared it to myself. Like I went to the Giants-Dallas game. There was 60,000 people there. Now, if I go back to work or I go home with kids, am I irresponsible because I went to a game and potentially contracted the virus? That makes me irresponsible? No, that makes me, I'm going to live my life. The common cold ain't taking me down, folks. Sorry. So in any event, that's a Colby Covington reference. Did you guys see that Antonio Brown called out Tom Brady's trainer saying he owes him $100,000? Oh boy. This ain't.
I thought Tom Brady was on team AB.
This ain't never
Shit
gonna
is about
end,
to go
bro.
down.
This ain't never gonna end.
Oh, all this just makes me feel like Tampa's going to be harder to beat in the playoffs.
Harder. I think this team explodes.
No, man, the more bullshit. I deleted a post the other day on my stories where it was like the Patriots getting ripped apart. You know how on Facebook does the memories? And I remember making a post when you think it's all lost with Brady and it's like it's imploding and there's no way that he's going to come out on top is when he's like, haha. It actually makes me sick.
Watch this, chapter 24 of The Man in the Arena. I'm about to win another ring.
Yeah,
like,
come on, bro.
Like when he threw that iPad, it's like you saw it in slow motion. It was like, hello, darkness, my old friend, as he released it, because you know the next big meme is him holding up another Super Bowl trophy. It's disturbing. I hate it. It sucks. But there's so much. Look, I'm not about to sit here and defend Tom Brady, but Tom Brady went to bat for you. And I would refrain on throwing shade at Mr. Tom Brady. Brady leaves after this year because of the drama. No, it's time to retire anyway, Tommy. Like Tom Brady needs to retire anyway, right? Anyway, Arians is gone after this year, according to IntelliCard.
I don't think Tom Brady's going to retire.
He's going to play until he can't walk anymore. Like that's the thing. As long as his arm functions and his vision down the field is good, he's going to play.
I do think Bruce Arians is gone, but I don't think that matters much for the Tom Brady situation because they have Byron Leftwich, and I don't think he's going to take a job if Arians is actually probably most likely definitely out the door after this year.
Most likely, definitely. All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on.
And obviously. I do agree with you. There are plenty of guys that aren't a fit in a locker room that are still on the team. There's no doubt about it, 100%. Yes. But I think the AB situation is a little bit different. There's multiple suspensions, and it's a lot of different locker rooms that he hasn't worked out with. It did work out.
When somebody chimed in that he was on the Bills, I had almost no recollection of that. That he was a Bill.
Was he?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I think he was for like a split second.
That must have been the quickest. Like I thought he was with the Raiders for a cup of coffee. Mm-hmm. This is a sip. of coffee. You know what I mean? Like, I don't remember that. I remember the Patriots. Obviously, he scored a touchdown in fantasy. I remember that for damn sure. 4 teams, 3 years is Robert Bohannon. That's a lot. That goes to show you that things just aren't working out. And look, not for nothing.
It's 5 teams.
He's not the only one that's in that situation. Like Everson Griffin, 3 teams in 2 years. He was a Cowboy, a Lion, and back with the Vikings again. So 4 teams if you go back. So, and he's come out and said he's got bipolar disorder. So there could be something wrong with Antonio Brown. And I'm not about to knock him for his mental stability, but I do think that the fit in the locker room is just not, it's not there for any locker room. And that's when I said, like, I shouldn't say like he should never be allowed to play. He's just not a good fit for this league right now.
Put it this way.
Based off of everything.
If the Packers signed Antonio Brown and he scored some touchdowns, I will be okay with it. I would be happy. I would root for him. But I would also be apprehensive as they sign him, thinking like, oh, what at some point or another, something is going to go wrong. And you just know it. And it could be at the worst time. And it is for Tampa right now. So no, I wouldn't want Antonio Brown in my locker room.
Yeah,
but
somebody shared a graphic yesterday.
But I would take him on my
Antonio Brown in the
team.
Cowboys uniform. I was like, can you please remove this from Twitter? Like, I don't need to see that crap because that's just ridiculous. Look, sometimes there are circumstances where the skill outweighs the drama, right? Like, oh man, he's a pain in the dick, but bro, is he good, right? This is beyond that now. This is beyond that. Now you're going to release text.
I'll give you an example.
These hoes ain't loyal, bro.
I'll give you one example of a guy that might be a problem according to the way the media portrays him. But his talent just outweighs all of the bullshit.
Gee, who's that?
I wonder who we could be talking about. This year's NFL MVP, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron
Tina,
Charles
there's
Rodgers.
something all you guys watching right now, please take a listen to this. Go ahead, Tina.
50 voters coming out and saying yesterday, quote, I don't think you can be the biggest jerk in the league and punish your team and your organization and your fan base the way he did and be the MVP. I think he's a bad guy, and I don't think a bad guy can be the MVP at the same time.
I think he's a bum. I think he's an absolute bum. He doesn't know me. I don't know who he is. No one knew who he was probably until yesterday's comments. But I mean, and I listened to the comments, but to say he had his mind made up in the summertime, in the off season, that, you know, I had zero chance of winning MVP, in my opinion, should exclude, you know, future votes. You know, his problem isn't with me being a bad guy or the biggest jerk in the league. Because he doesn't know me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know anything about me. I mean, I've never met him. I've never had lunch with him. I've never had an interview with him. His problem is I'm not vaccinated.
Is that it? All right. Well, dude, first of all, like, Aaron Rodgers fires back. I told you yesterday when you sent me this thing, I was like, man, bum is underutilized and underused. Bum is a strong word. And it's so funny that Robert Bohannon, how can he say that about the owner of the Bears?
And the Vikings.
And every other team. Look, and this is where I draw the line here with these reporters, right? Or not even reporting. When you get a vote, like a Hall of Fame or an MVP, that's a privileged thing, man. You are like in control of something very, very valuable, right? To the guy's future, to the guy's, I mean, look, there's not much left in Aaron Rodgers' career, but, you know,
except for multiple Super Bowls.
Well, whatever the case may be, all I'm saying is this. If you have a pre-notioned thought about a player, strip that card, bro. You don't get a chance to vote, right? Am I wrong here?
I mean, no, you get a chance to vote and you just do it privately. There's no reason why you should come out and say and out yourself and basically put pressure on every other reporter now, because if Aaron Rodgers doesn't win the MVP, it's a clear-cut case that people are doing it for the wrong reasons. It's not because he's not the best player, because clearly right now Aaron Rodgers is a far away front runner for MVP. There's no way he doesn't have to play Sunday and he's got the award locked up, unless everyone like this guy is a douchebag and they decide for whatever biased reasons that they're not going to vote for him. This guy is a Bears beat writer. So
how do you affiliate that's not right. You got to be, to me, I think you need to be an individual. Like, no fan base, no nothing. Like, you can't work for an NFL team and then vote for MVP.
I think that they have a beat writer for every team, essentially, in the voting process. I am not positive on that, but there's 50 votes. There's 50 votes. It's Associated Press. So it's whoever's writing for these guys or whatever column. I'm not even sure how these guys get picked. But there is a public outcry to get his vote rescinded, which it should be. Because, look, people have been voting for their own personal bias since the beginning of time. That's fine. It's always going to be like that. You have human element involved in this. So there's always going to be that. But when you out yourself that you are actually you're going to use the human element and actually be biased and tell everybody this prior to making the vote, then I think that it takes a lot of the voting away. It's like, what are you doing?
They did to Jeter.
The cardinal rule is you don't disclose who you're voting for or who you didn't vote for until after.
There you go. Robert Bohannon coming in. Look what they did to Jeter because that guy had a vote. That guy should not have a vote. If you have a personal bias against a player, any player in the league, not just Aaron Rodgers. If I'm a beat writer for the Cowboys, right? And they're like, Dave, we're going to give you a chance to be a voter in the MVP voting. That's not, you should not do that to me because I'm not voting for guys like Saquon Barkley.
His quote was, I'm not voting for that guy because he's a jerk. And the best, whatever, you guys just heard the whole thing. Rodgers' response, I think he pretty much quoted the guy with his response. So I don't need to get into that. But did you see his apology? That's like his half-hearted apology.
No.
He came out and he basically apologized for disclosing who he was going to vote for or wasn't going to vote for and not his reasons behind it.
Do you remember those days back in the day when you didn't disclose who you're voting for president? You don't. Right? You didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, but
no one
even
asked you either.
That aside, that aside, this is like a moral thing. What do we ethics? It's an ethical thing amongst reporters. Like, you're putting these other guys in a position now where the pressure's on these guys. Now everybody's going to be asking them, who are you voting for?
Tell you what,
the reason why is it because of Aaron Rodgers didn't get vaxxed?
Unless we're talking about Baseball Hall of Fame, right? Like where these reporters are coming out and they're siding with things, meaning like, hey, like Buster Olney or something like that. Hey, or what's the other one? I can't even think of his name off.
Carl Ravitch?
No. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So when they put out their votes, they say
Kirkjian,
not Kirkjian, but he should do his own podcast for an hour. No, what I'm saying is these guys come out and they say, hey, here's my voting card. Here's what I voted for. So you people can realize that I voted for a Barry Bonds or a Kurt Schilling or whoever else linked to steroids or whatever. This is my stance on it. This is where I'm at. Fine. The vote's already submitted, right? You can say who you voted for.
There's no issue with them really. I think that's always been a thing where the AP pretty much asks their voters to not disclose who they're voting for until after the vote. It's that simple.
Right.
For this guy to come out, there's no unethical thing about it when they're releasing it after the fact.
Right. So for this guy to come out before the fact and say like, nope, he ain't getting my vote.
Well, we're all watching you now, Associated Press. What are you going to do about it, bro? Are you going to strip him of the vote, bro? I think you should.
Yeah, I think the AP has
to
take that vote away from that guy and give it to somebody else. I remember Mike Francesa had a vote for the Hall of Fame. And he would talk about his vote for the Hall of Fame after the fact. You never go into something.
Until guys like Mike Francesa don't have votes for things, you're never going to see any of the new age shit going down. Like all the steroid guys will never.
They all got to die. They all got to die.
Yeah, I mean, that's dark, but
it is dark. But
I'm with you.
They're not removing themselves. That's their badge of honor, bro. That's them saying like, I still vote for the MVP, and I'm 87 years old. Damn, those steroid users are never getting it. You need guys like me and you, 35, 36, 40-year-old people that have watched the game for what it's worth.
And in the 50s, every single player beat their wives.
Jesus Christ.
Not everyone, but you get it, right? You get it.
Okay.
So it's like nowadays, if that's, you're never getting in if you hit your wife. In 1950, hey.
I watched The Babe.
Where's my?
You ever see The Babe, the movie with what's this guy?
Yep.
John Goodman?
Yep.
He smacks her around. He's the greatest baseball player to ever live, according to some. So yeah, I get it. With the times, I get it. Yeah, all right, there you go. Make a rule. You should only have a vote for 20 years. And once the game passes you by, that more likely means that your brain has also passed you by. Where you can't judge with an open mind because you're stuck in your ways. Your ways are not going to change. If you're against the guys that have used steroids or performance-enhancing drugs in baseball, that ain't never going to change.
I am against them. Like I
say even the goddamn playing field, let everybody do it.
I shouldn't say I'm against them because I'm all down for whatever. I don't actually care about any of that stuff. Whatever is the product is being played on the field, if it's better, I'm down for it. The numbers thing never really bothered me. I thought it was exciting watching all the home runs, but you can't necessarily be like, those guys are cool. Like they didn't do anything wrong. They did. They fucked up. But I think the way the state of the game was, it needed to be fixed. And they needed to be outed, right, to fix baseball, so to speak. But now, all right, time passed. Let's honor these guys now because Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, the Major League Baseball made a lot of money showing Barry Bonds highlights. When you see a Major League Baseball clip now, guess what? You'll see a Barry Bonds home run. So if you're still using these guys,
great
name,
point.
image, and likeness to make money for yourself and to promote things. Same thing the NFL used to do with hard hits. Do you remember watching an NFL preview for anything? It would be 25 illegal hits in a row.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what they're using to sell the game. And now they're taking it away from you. So yeah, they got their head stuff up their ass.
That's a very, very, very good point when it comes to like, even in the opening signatures for like these shows, it's like where it's like ding, 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 bang, right? But like the first thing is Bonds, and then another one's a cracking skull helmet hit. You guys are making money off of them. They should be rewarded by putting them in the Hall of Fame and or winning MVPs. So anyway, one more thing before we get out of here, because this is like an amazing story right now to me as a Cowboys fan.
Oh, I know what you were going to talk about. You were going to talk about Colonia High School Wrestling beating Woodbridge last night, baby. Whoa! Don't think I wasn't going to sneak that in. Congratulations to Coach Dan Grasso on his 150th win as a head
That was
wrestling
150?
coach. Yeah, good job, Dan.
And it was against
the Grasso
Woodbridge?
family is legendary here at Chop Sports.
So wait. That happened last night?
Yeah,
but
it was in Colonia.
I was supposed to do a wrestling match on Friday, and it was canceled.
This was in Colonia, and I guess Colonia doesn't care about COVID. They're all irresponsible.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I got the text from Mr. Ward saying, like, no wrestling on Friday, unless I was fired. Unless that's the nice way of saying,
but
you're no longer the voice.
Would you typically go to road matches to call the matches?
It's a home match.
Colonia and Woodbridge was in Colonia.
Correct, but I'm saying they canceled wrestling on Friday already in advance. So what are they doing wrestling last night?
Maybe this has to do with the team that they're wrestling against on Friday.
Touche. All right. Well, that's
figured it out.
There it is. The code has been cracked. One guy who can't crack a code or can't crack anything right now is Joe Judge. Dina, please, for the love of God, pull this up.
Practice hard on Wednesday, or practice hard on Thursday, or practice hard on Friday. Okay? And we're going to play for each other on the field next week.
40-minute rant.
No.
If we don't play well, every fan has a right to boo my stadium. You got that? That don't bother me. I don't want it. I don't think anyone wants to get
spare you guys. I did shave
but
this
the reality
down to
is,
about a minute.
That's all right. Okay? It's all right. They have that right. So the fans are, Dan, to go back to the first part, the fans are every bit right to ask what you're asking. 100%. Okay? 100%.
Yeah.
And I get about a dozen emails a day. All right? 6 of which asking exactly what you're asking, the other 6 offering full support the other way. Okay? To me, both are great. Both are great. Okay? All right, but I'll tell you right now. All right, if you're in the damn building, you walk on through our locker room, you ain't seeing that crap you saw before. All right? You ain't seeing guys right now planning vacations. You ain't seeing golf clubs in front of players' locker. You ain't seeing that stuff. But I'm proud of the way these guys continue to fight and the effort they play with, all right, and the way they grind it out. Okay? But again, the toughest thing to turn over in a program, the toughest thing to change is how people think. Okay? How they think. And we got guys right now that are wired the right way. Okay? They're wired the right way.
It's comedy.
This is absolute travesty, ladies and gentlemen. There's the real Joe Judge right in front of me. Will this guy just shut up already? His team is so far gone and so far packed it in, which he claims they're not packed in, and there's no golf clubs in front of our lockers. Bro, you're talking yourself out of a job.
We got a Danny Grasso say.
Hell yeah, Danny. What up, bro?
Congrats.
Congrats on that win. Sort of, kind of. Just loosely congrats on the win. I would never want you to beat my boys. But anyway, Joe Judge, bro, he needs to stop talking because now it's just lie after lie after lie. It's like, oh, nobody's packed it in. Newsflash. Everybody's packed it in. You watched the game last week against the Bears. Everybody's packed it in, right? This guy has said so much bullshit. He said, oh, I got former players texting me saying, I want to come back. You cut those players, Joe.
Yo, you know what I think?
Those players.
The Packers have really shitty special teams. So I think that there could be a job for Joe Judge in Green Bay. I think he's probably a really good special teams coach, right? I mean, but he's not a good head coach. And
but he also doesn't know how to lose, is what I'm saying. And that's I heard this yesterday. That the coaching tree had Bill Belichick. All you were surrounded with was winning. You were never prepared to lose. For 20 years, you never had a losing season. You always won. So I'm talking about guys like Matt Patricia. I'm talking about guys like Joe Judge. I'm talking about guys even like their offensive coordinator right now when he went up to Denver. What the hell's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
I don't even know.
Offensive coordinator. Come on.
For
the Patriots right now.
McDaniels. I was reading comments and not even listening.
He coached the Broncos, and it was shit. They don't know how to lose. So therefore, Joe Judge is literally scratching and clawing at the media saying, hey guys, look at me. I'm fine. This is good. And then like in that clip, literally said, for every 6 emails I get about, your displeasure with what's going on around here, I get 6 right back encouraging me.
He gets a dozen emails a week.
Bullshit.
He coaches the New York Giants, bro. There's only a dozen guys reaching out.
I get a dozen emails in my email right now. Like now, bro, I get a dozen emails.
Let's be serious here. I have more people emailing me about the Packers than Joe Judge. Joe Judge has emailing him about the NFL team that he's coaching in the tri-state area. Stop it, bro. You're a joke.
He's embarrassing
And I
himself.
typically don't call people out like you're a joke, you're trash. I think Joe, just listening to that, AJ's right in the comments. AJ's saying we need more Joe Judge. I'm 100% on that because this is great content. I could laugh at this.
It is. All right. So I will tell you guys this. If you guys have not seen this, I cut up a minute. This was a 37-minute rant.
It's brutal
about how he's coached his
calling
players.
out other coaches where he's saying, you don't hear me up here bashing my players like some coaches do.
You also don't see our guys punching each other on the sidelines. He wouldn't even retract that. He said, oh, no, I wasn't talking about the Washington football team. I was just talking about in general. It just happened.
I can't explain how little that matters. Like if a guy fights on this, that does not matter in the grand scheme of things. You do not need these guys to be
deflecting
friends.
Now. He's like, look at Washington. They're in disarray. But no, not Washington, the coach. I kind of like the coach, but Washington sucks. And then there's problems with Pat Shurmur over in Denver. He's one of the coordinators. But I wasn't really talking about Pat Shurmur.
The Mara family has got their head stuffed up their ass. If this guy's really there for another game, like give him this game because what are you really going to do? But there's no way. He did talk himself out of a job. I can't see it. The fans, show me those 6 fans. Raise your hand, Giants fans, if you're one of those 6 people that actually want Joe Judge back. Show me one.
Joe Judge is like a walking drunk text.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
He's a walking drunk text. I like that a lot because that's exactly what this is. Every time this guy takes to the media, it should be, listen, I worked, truth be told, I worked for the New York Giants. In 2007, it was my first internship. So I got behind the scenes.
He didn't really say that. I don't want
what?
Go ahead, keep going. But Joe Judge, every one of the Giants finished Sunday's game with their shirt on. Did he really fucking say
please,
that?
God, help us if he – no, he didn't. But that's hilarious.
That's good.
But I worked for the New York Giants in 2007, right? It was my first internship out of broadcasting school. So I got knee-deep in the Giants, their organization, how they run shit over there, okay? And let me tell you this. With experience in this department, their coaching staff – everybody I met, and at the time, it was Coughlin, it was Kevin McBride, who, by the way, fought Buddy Ryan on the sidelines once upon a time. It was, but everybody in their front office, they ran a tight ship. This guy does not fit the mold to everything that I was around at all. None at all. Like the interviews, the post-game interviews, they have to stop.
Wasn't there recently, I would say, in the time since you've left till now, a changing of the guard with ownership and
no, it's been Mara and Tish.
Yeah, Mara and Tish. But I think that there's now it's the younger Maras that are doing things. And usually when
Wellington Mara died friggin' 30 years ago.
I just remember hearing a conversation where the Giants ownership is at odds, whereas 15 years ago they were.
I believe the Mara, the one Mara, John Mara, is the team president. So that's where he also has he's like a Jerry Jones all of a sudden, where he's owner, president, GM, everything, right? So he might have a little bit more stroke, but he's got to look at this and say, yo, come on. Like, I would honestly, going forward, there's 1 week left in the NFL season. Cancel your media access. Cancel it. Do not go out there and throw up a stinker against Washington, which I hope to God they get the doors blown off.
Please don't cancel it. I need to hear more Joe Judge after the game because they're gonna get their shit kicked in, and I need to hear it. So yeah, don't cancel the media access. No, could you imagine they ran from the media after week 18? The season's over. We're not doing this. Sorry, guys.
Joe Palumbo was coming in before saying, get rid of Judge, give Danny 1 more year. Draft 2 offensive linemen and an edge rusher with the top 3 picks.
I think that's the most likely scenario.
I think that, yes, you have to give Daniel Jones another shot with another coach because all Jones knows right now is Joe Judge. And that's, well, basically. I mean, in layman, like, yeah, within reason. Did he have McAdoo?
And McAdoo.
He did have McAdoo. All right, well, McAdoo's now a special assistant advisor on the Dallas Cowboys staff. Go figure that shit out. But as far as this kid goes, Joe, you have a point. Maybe give Daniel Jones a chance to prove to the next coach, whoever it is, that he's a decent quarterback in this league.
The reality of the situation is the only way you move on from Danny Dimes is you trade him. what are you going to get back for him?
Not much.
You know, you got a guy that clearly, you know, you don't exactly know yet.
You are getting a day 3 pick, maybe. And I'm saying maybe.
I think that you could get what the Jets got for Sam Darnold, possibly a 3rd rounder, maybe a 4th.
I don't know, man. Because Sam Darnold was coming from, well, I'll ask you this. Who's the better head coach? Joe Judge or Adam Gase?
What? No, you don't have to. I'm not answering that.
You're not answering
No,
that?
absolutely not. They're both terrible head coaches. Joe Judge is better because he's won right now. Adam Gase isn't a head coach.
I mean, Joe Judge has won 10 games in 2 years.
Joe Judge is a head coach.
Oh, okay.
Adam
So
Gase
because
is
he's
not.
employed, he's a
Yeah,
better head
so-
coach. Okay, that's fair.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Exactly, for now. So we'll see how, you know, there could be a lot of changes coming up in the NFL season as far as coaching is concerned.
I could see a Jim Harbaugh in New York.
Oh, God, no. I love Jim Harbaugh. I don't want that. No, that's not fair. Sam Grasso coming in with that one. I would hate for that because I actually like Jim Harbaugh. I want him to go to Vegas or somewhere else where he just, like, you know, culture change, blah, blah, blah. The Giants don't need a culture change. They have the talent on the team. They just haven't executed because their coaching is piss poor. Kenny Golladay was brought in there because he was the highest touted free agent receiver because he was good last year with the Detroit Lions. So, like, therefore, you know that there's talent on the team. Saquon Barkley has fumbled over his own 2 feet. Get somebody that can teach him how to run.
When you're down 2 scores late in the game and you have 11 pass attempts, I don't give a shit who your quarterbacks are, who your receivers are. You got to throw the football when you're down 2 scores late, especially when there's really nothing on the line. You know, you got to go out there and try to win the game. You're telling me that his players were his receivers. I'll tell you who's got golf.
Receivers.
You know, like if his receivers, if any of them do in fact golf, there was golf clubs in front of their lockers. And the only reason why there wasn't is because they simply don't golf. But those guys aren't even getting the ball at all. And you're down 2 scores. The entire team wants Joe Judge out.
You don't see golf clubs at the players' locker rooms. Joe, my guy, it's 16 degrees. This is very true. It's not even golf season, right? You don't see us golfing in Chicago in the snow. Yeah, so like but here, the problem is this quotable shit is a joke and an embarrassment for a team that's supposed to have like this Yankees mentality.
I also have a very good
business.
question, and Kyle Kerms is giving me the idea.
What?
Who's a better head coach, Joe Judge or Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy is not close. It's not even close.
Are you sure?
I am definitely sure. 1,001%. Stop. Mike McCarthy's 11-4. Right?
I thought you were about,
11-5.
Bro, I swear to God, when you said I thought you were about to call him a legend. I was about to quit Chop Sports right now. Fucking blow the studio up.
We have business insurance for that.
11-4.
He's 11-5 as a head coach. He's definitely a lot better than the guy that's got 3 or 4 wins over in New York. It's just a clown show. It's a joke. I think it needs to end. And for Giants fans' sakes, it has to end after this week. If you get the doors blown off you by the Washington football team, who just zip tied their railing back together, by the way, zip ties,
bro. Joe Judge should get fired no matter what happens on Sunday. Like if they get blown out,
play for him.
If they win by 30, are you going to be like, wow, we beat another team in our division that's playing in a meaningless game by 30 and went to get a worse draft pick? It's like all bad. Nothing good about any of that. Joe Judge he can't save his job. He talked himself out of it.
Shout out to the Washington football team who decided they wanted to steal Groundhog Day, by the way, and say that we're going to name our team. And it's not the Washington football team.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what it would be. You put out a perfect one.
Are you really, you're a big Groundhog? I mean, the movie Groundhog Day is amazing, but like they're stealing Groundhog Day.
They are stealing Groundhog Day from us because that's how much of a dumpster fire Washington is. That entire division, I'm sorry, folks. Outside of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, that division.
What are you doing for Groundhog Day, bro?
Atrocious.
What are you going to do for Groundhog Day this year?
I'm going to watch the Washington football team's press conference.
Couldn't think of anything better.
What's his name? What's the Groundhog's name? What is it?
Punxsutawney Phil.
Punxsutawney?
That's the name of the town.
Oh, I thought it was.
Think it was
else.
leaked already. You think it was leaked?
What was leaked? Oh, the Admirals. Well, no. Remember, homeboys were going out there grabbing website domains when they were first.
Yeah,
So that could be.
I'm sure they.
Admirals is cool, I guess. I don't know. That place sucks. Everything sucks. Philadelphia sucks. It's the birthplace of AIDS. AJ will love that one. AJ will appreciate that joke. But I don't know. The whole division's a dumpster fire. But in any event, I saw Groundhog Day. Who say I didn't see Groundhog Day? Somebody said they never saw Groundhog Day. All right. Well, sorry to hear that. But yeah, if it's the Admirals, great. I'm more interested in the XFL rebranding a couple of their teams before I'm excited about the Washington football team.
I've always liked the football team on it.
They should leave it.
They should keep it.
They should leave it because it's grown on to people. Their uniforms are fresh. I think they're nice. Yeah, Admirals has been leaked by Sam Grasso, so maybe that's a thing.
We just got used to not calling them one thing. Now we have
right. I have to go out. Ready for
this?
this? I have to go and edit because I do a podcast with Brett and Keith Ernst, who are both 40 and above, 45 and above, right? And every time they say Redskins, I got to go in and edit it because the blog and the boys don't want that. And I'm just like, you know how much they call them the Redskins? They're from the 80s. Those guys are fans from the 80s. They're gonna call them the Skins. That's the way you is. It's the way you is. I have journalism degree over here, folks. Oh man, it's been a long one. So anyway. There's a lot. We went over a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed the 2-year anniversary show.
1 year anniversary.
That's what I meant. 1 year. We are in season 2, is what I meant to say. Jesus Christ, Dave. This is not the time to drop the ball. So be sure to like this video. That would be very beneficial to us. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes, I see those stains from a mile away there, Chris, as you check them, and yes, they're there. Whatchamacall? Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us out on Patreon. We really appreciate that. That's up to 28 people right now. Very, very, very grateful for everybody throwing their support, which, by the way, I think Joe LaCory, who I sent $1,700 to yesterday based off of all the awards he won in fantasy football, says our tip is going to be a $10 Patreon subscription. So thank you, Joe. That's awesome because that alludes to what I thought we were going to get anyway, $100. You know what I mean? So,
and what it comes down to is eventually it's the full 1,700 back. Like it's a lifetime subscription.
Shh, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that. But anyway, so thank you guys for watching. If you like this show, please tell your friends, share this video. Do me a favor, because Joe Pizzamenti and Johnny Machad and like those guys have been sharing the Facebook video. If you guys want to show and throw some support and share this YouTube video, because that's what really counts. And that's where we want to get our views up and all that good stuff. Subscriber counts up, all that nonsense. So thank you guys for watching, for Sturch and Gooch. And of course, Dina, our producer, doing a great job with all the videos and graphics and all that good stuff. Gooch, we ready to do this for another year, bro?
Yeah, baby. Let's do it.
Let's go. We got things in the works. We got
health over wealth. No, here it's wealth over health.
It is wealth over health over here. We're making money and we're dying all at the same time. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow on what is it? It is time. It's a Lean Football Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Feel good football, Lean Fridays. Kyle Kerms in studio. As long as it doesn't snow a bunch, you get the sauce back here. Does he have a good car at least that he could trek here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll all get here. I drive a big Silverado. Gooch, he'll get here too. He lives 4 seconds away. So we'll get in studio tomorrow. Lean Fridays, our final week of picks. Can I catch Gooch? It remains to be seen. I'm down one game. I'm going to catch you.
Bro, I've been toying with you all this time.
Oh, okay.